as the, hold on, let me just, contact numbers would be at the very end of the presentation, so you will get copies of the recording. That is no problem at all. I've got one or two questions already for you guys. I've got one question here. Question, I don't know, to maybe DeviceAnywhere. So how does a set-top boxes work, please? I'm thinking, Javier, would you want to take that question?
Well, basically, it's the same principle we apply to the mobile devices. The thing is, we integrate the remote control of the set-top box, and we, in the same fashion, we integrate any other handset in our rack, and then we connect that rack to the set-top box, the actual set-top box, and we convert the signals coming out from the set-top box or coming in through a couple of hubs. I will require probably more explanations from, more clarifications from Mitun, but basically we convert the signal into our Ensemble server, which is the same the very same server that we use to connect the hardware integrated in the rack to the clients to access remotely. So it's basically the same integration. What we can do then when we integrate the remote control of the set-top box in the rack is we can access remotely, and we basically can push buttons and see the results on the screen, on the actual screen that the set-top box would show in your TV or your LCD, and therefore we can interact with it in many ways and operate our testing on that. We have a couple of customers who are working now in the US, Verizon and Intel, and we have any other requests from many other companies in Europe about that integration. Unfortunately, we can't really show those because they are in the private environments of the customers, but we could, I don't know if in this session, but we could potentially show the architecture of that, what I just described before. But it's basically the same way as we integrate the handsets.
Okay, thank you, Javier, for that. Okay, I've got another question. I think it's for Metin. Question is, what happens if the device gets frozen? Metin, want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So if a device is frozen, for example, the screen locks, like everyone sort of is used to with mobile phones, it is possible to actually do a hardware reset on the device. So we can either use, obviously, some of the USSD codes that are available out there, or you can actually do a physical pull of the battery, because we do hardware integrate with the battery. So if you needed to do a physical hard reset, then that's completely possible.
Perfect. Thank you, Metin. Okay, I've got another question coming in. Question is, could you please tell me whether you carry out the testing to your clients or whether you provide a platform for your clients to perform their test? Andy, do you want to take that?
Yeah, no problem. I think the answer can be either way, really. It depends what fits best for the organisation. With our partnership with Device and HP, we can look to provide the setup, the platform, the technology, the training, or in addition to that, also the resources, the expertise, and then the execution of tests, or help you devise a performance strategy, so an automation strategy for your mobile services. So it's I guess the level of involvement depends on how your organisation is set up.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy. Okay, I've got another question here. How can the automated scripts be customized to look for certain results on the screen? I'm not sure, guys, which one you want to...
Yeah, so I'll answer that one,
Okay,
Melanie.
perfect. Ethan?
So we have two ways of actually doing verifications. So we have image verification, and we also have text check verification. Something that I didn't mention actually during the automation demo was the ability to use OCR. So we use OCR, object character recognition, to pull any text off the device. So you can type in using a variable either that has some text assigned to it, or you could possibly just look for a specific key or a breadcrumb on the page, maybe like menu, for example, or phone, just to make sure that you're on the right page. Again, it applies to the same test cases, such as data that's changing on the page. Maybe if you're buying an item from Amazon.co.uk or something as an example on your mobile phone, and you were looking for a pair of shoes, you could look for the word shoes and make sure that you're on the correct screen. And if you knew that there was a specific image of those shoes on that page, you could use the image verification to do that as well.
All right, perfect. Okay, I've got another question, guys. Sorry, the questions are flowing in. Another question is, does the hardware integration extend beyond hardware keys, i.e. accessing radio, modem, on and off? Who wants to take that, guys?
Yeah, so I'll take that again.
Okay.
So if I've understood the question correctly, and forgive me if I haven't, but we integrate directly onto the device, so it allows usage of the device. If you needed to turn on, for example, like the Wi-Fi module, or you wanted to enable 3G and all that sort of stuff, the way we actually enable you to do that is obviously just through the user interface of the device. Hardware integrated functions include things such as the data cable. Maybe if it's again, it's not just handsets that we integrate. For example, it could be a phone, like an IP phone, picking up the handset, dropping the handset, things like that. We are able to sort of integrate, not the actual the Wi-Fi module on the device. We would have to rely on the interface of the device to do that. So you could connect to a Wi-Fi network to turn off 3G or turn off 3G through the interface.
Perfect. Thank you, Mitten. Okay, thinking I'll take one or two more questions. Two more questions. The first one is, how quickly do you get new devices online after their release? Guys? Mitten or Javier?
Yeah, okay. So I'll take it again.
Okay.
So if a new device, for example, comes into the market, we would first need to get that device before we add it to our data bank. Now, if you are talking about the shared system, we would obviously need to selectively pick which devices we think are going to be popular devices, and then integrate them into our hardware, and then put them in the relevant regions, i.e. in the UK or US or wherever. The answer to the question, really, it takes us around sort of 10 working days, I would say, to integrate a specific device. So if we had the device when it first came out, it would be approximately 2 weeks later that we add it to a specific package. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay, sorry, Mitten. We'll take some of your questions offline. I think we're running out of time. I think we've been here for about an hour, so I'm sure you guys wanted to have lunch and everything. We'll take some of the questions offline. We will answer those today, no problem, in the next couple of hours or so. I'll just pass over to Andy for a few minutes just to obviously conclude the webinar.
Yeah, thanks, Mel. I guess just in conclusion, hopefully you found the webinar of interest and of value today. Thanks to Mitten and certainly to Javier for their participation. My only point is that if you do have any further questions, or it sparks any sort of thoughts or considerations, or you're sort of involved in mobile testing or mobile app development at the moment and you'd like to find out more, please just get in touch. The details and hopefully, if you do find it of interest, we can catch up soon. So thanks once again.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.